I want you to imagine that you just became a K-pop idol and you've already been working for years in your own group with some success, but you guys aren't really top of your generation. Then comes this opportunity on a survival show made by the K-pop equivalent of the Empire for Star Wars. You compete with other idols in a similar situation who debuted around when you did. Over the next 3 months, there's cameras on you almost 24/7 as you practice and crash out weekly. But somehow, you make it to the final lineup. This is it. This is not only a big break for you to make a name for yourself, but your group who is cheering you on to come back to the company and have your group finally get some recognition. You record the album and shoot the music video with your new group mates who also made it to this project group. And that's it. Not only that, but the survival show series that you were on was canceled after you guys appeared on it. This is what literally happened to the members that were on Mnet's survival show Queendom Puzzle and then became the group known as EL7Z UP. And this is the story on what happened to them. Hi, I'm Naeson and welcome back to What Happened. Today is a puzzling one. Pun intended. Because EL7Z UP is a group that I not only followed from day one, literally watching the premiere of this show.
Is it Taeyeon? Oh my god. Hello! Hola! Konnichiwa! 안녕하세요! Hi!
But I'm also a fan of the groups where these members originally came from. We're talking about groups like Rocket Punch, Purple Kiss, Wooah, Lovelyz, CLC, Witchsonyeon, Cosmic Girls, and High Key. Also, before I get too deep into it, my favorite fact from the show is that Lee Taeyeon, yes, from IZ*ONE, appeared on the show to be a contestant to compete to debut in this group. But she showed up on one episode and then bounced. She was like, nah, I don't need to be here. I'm probably going to be more popular than whatever this turns into. But let's go back to talking about the contestants that stayed on the show. And I gotta mention that I interviewed and collabed with some of these groups. So for me, this video is personal. Alright? Okay, so the big question I want to answer in this video is, why did Mnet do all of this just to make a group that dropped one song, their debut, and disappear like me at a party? Let's find out what happened to EL7Z UP, the K-pop group that literally did nothing. Now, before I really get into it, let me say I am back on the journey to 1 million subscribers. I know I'm gonna hit it, but it's more of a question of when. Come join me on this journey by hitting that subscribe button down below. Also, go ahead and tell me what you think about EL7Z UP. Were you a fan of them from day one? Do you know the groups where they come from? And what do you think happened to them? Did you watch Queendom Puzzle? Did you see Taeyeon? Because, oh, who put that there? Okay, now where do we start? How about the members? All of the members kind of came from the 3rd and 4th generation of K-pop, where their groups have already gone through their best years or haven't found popularity on their own, except for High Key members Jisoo and Nina, which debuted just a year before appearing on the survival show. As I said, High Key was a rookie girl group, and they were one of the lucky few in K-pop history to have a mega smash hit of a song so early in their career with Rose Blossom. And that's even more impressive considering they don't come from one of the big labels in Korea. Rose Blossom was immediately beloved in Korea, and the members themselves were in fact proud of that.
처음에는 이렇게 많은 관심을 받을 줄 몰라서 되게 신기하게만 느꼈었다가 이제 댓글 같은 걸 봤는데 굉장히 많은 분들이 이제 위로를 받았다, 뭐 공감이 된다 그런 것 같아서 되게 행복했던 시간이었습니다.
그리고 저희가 해외에서는 직접 들어보지 못했잖아요. 그래서 빨리 해외에 가서 저희의 노래를 직접 저희의 귀로 들어보고 싶습니다.
So what I'm thinking is that GLG, High Key's label, wanted to capitalize on the success of this song to try to get as much attention on the girls as possible. So that's why Jisoo and Nina ended up on the show Queendom Puzzle. On the flip side, we have groups that aren't as lucky as High Key was, like Rocket Punch. Coming from Willem Entertainment, who was known in the past for the boy group Infinite and nowadays for the solo artist Eunbi. Rocket Punch never really got any swimming lessons before they were dumped into the deep side of the ocean. With okay album sales and no real hit song to their name, Queendom Puzzle was basically their last shot at K-pop stardom. So they sent 3 members to compete: Juri, Suyeon, and Yeonmi. Next up, we have Purple Kiss, who put out some quality music and performances. I think the members are super talented and shouldn't get slept on like this, but here we are. RBW is the home to Purple Kiss, but also some iconic K-pop groups in history like Kara and Mamamoo. Purple Kiss were still relatively new when Queendom Puzzle came calling, so they sent one member to represent them, that being the rapper Yuki. And by the way, I do have to mention, I want to stand on business because I said while watching the show that Yuki is my dark horse, and she got that dog in her.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of your dark horses of this competition.
Now, UA comes from a relatively unknown, just unknown K-pop label, H Music Entertainment, so it makes sense that they would appear on a show like this. But they were already promising as a group because their album sales were on the upward trajectory, and Queendom Puzzle could only help UA, with Nana and Wooyeon putting it on for their group. Now, I would say our next group we're talking about, Lovelyz, has a curious career. Also from Willem like Rocket Punch, Lovelyz were actually able to show what they had as they promoted for a whole 7 years. Lovelyz had consistent album sales on top of having a semi-bop in Achu, which you might have heard before. But the problem was they are the literal definition of a mid-tier group. By the time Queendom Puzzle was accepting contestants, Lovelyz have already stopped promotions and left their company. So vocalist K was signed to a new label and looking for an opportunity to get back out there, like a newly divorced dad. Oh man, you know how there are groups that when the thought of them cross your mind randomly on a Tuesday, you're like, oh my god, I miss them so much. Why did that happen? One of those groups for me is CLC. I rhymed. Cube Entertainment enjoyed the success of 4 Minute in the second gen of K-pop, and then followed up with CLC. CLC took quite a while to get up and running, mainly because of their music direction. But once they found out where the hell they were going, oh my god, they were so freaking good. They ran the streets of Girl Crush City, but it wasn't enough for Cube, especially when Idol became a monster rookie at debut. Cube didn't want to play with CLC anymore and sent Yujin off to another survival show called Girls Planet 999, where you can see her now as a member of Kepler. And well, the writing was already on the wall as the members didn't re-sign when their contracts expired with Cube. So the members went off on their own. One of the members was the rapper Yen, and went on Queendom Puzzle to basically start her solo career. Finally, we have Wujosonyeon, or Cosmic Girls. Wujosonyeon were the little sisters to Sistar, both from Starship Entertainment, and Wujosonyeon reached great heights, being a top girl group of their generation, even when they had to compete with Twice and Blackpink, who debuted within a year of them. But that was way back in 2016. Now hold up, let's fast forward to 2023, when Queendom Puzzle was beginning filming. At that point, it's already been 2 years since Wujosonyeon had any promotions, and the whole group already competed in another Mnet survival show, Queendom 2. The prime time for Wujosonyeon was in its twilight. Then, well, I've debuted. So for some reason, I say for some reason because Starship only sent Yeoreum to compete in Queendom Puzzle, even though there really wasn't a group to come back to, but whatever. Now those were the groups where the winning members of the show came from, but there was also other big names notable that competed in Queendom Puzzle, like members from Cherry Bullet, Tohwa or Chunmi from AOA, members from Wikimiki, RIP, members from Weekly, RIP again, Jui from Momoland, kind of RIP, but they're kind of back now, and members from Triple S. Shout out my girls. So with all those names I mentioned, you get an idea what this show was made for new idols to boost their career and for older idols to get that second chance. And now is summer 2023. Filming for the pre-recorded episodes were done. Mnet attached a huge name as the host to the show. Oh, hello, Miss Kim Taeyeon. 안녕하세요. And the first 4 episodes aired on television. Basically, they introduced their contestants. They all have their individual performances. Some were amazing, and some not so much. Then they got divided up into 4 teams where they practiced to perform for original songs made for the show, Snap and Charismatic. Now comes the fun part, the remix battles. Basically, the contestants covered hit K-pop songs like Idol's Nude, 17's Fighting, Blackpink's Shut Down, Poa's Only One, a shout out to old school K-pop fan, Shiny, Don't Call Me, and Twice, Dance the Night Away. Then something similar in the next 2 episodes where they all broke up into different units depending on their strengths. For example, vocals and rap, and then the dance group. With even more covers of songs like Rush Hour by Crush and J-Hope, Weekend by Taeyeon. Hey girl, you still doing good? Okay, that's good, that's good. Wannabe by ITZY. Oh yeah, and also this is just my opinion, but again, my opinion's always right. The best performance on any survival show ever, yes, ever, was performed in these episodes when Day 6 Time of Our Life was covered. And they still lost. How? Man, this audience wouldn't know taste if it went up in their mouth and put their taste buds in a chokehold, man. Like, damn. Anywho, now we're getting into the business end of the show, where people start getting eliminated. Sungha, Soyeon, Sun, Chui, and Cherin had to say goodbye, while the remaining contestants had 3 performances of original songs by 3 teams, Puzzlin, IDGA, and I Do. And we finally have the grand finale episode to decide who the winning contestants are, and what the new group that would join K-pop would look like. Only the top 7 would make it, but there were 14 left standing. The names that would be called would be
유키입니다. K입니다. 여름입니다. 연희입니다. 퀴서입니다. 와우. 나나입니다. 예은입니다.
I thought it was a pretty good mix of new idols and older idols that needed that chance. Now, while the show was over, we start to see some red flags. See, while Queendom Puzzle was airing, each episode was averaging around 0.500%, which is not bad, but also not good.
Not bad, but not good.
But here's the thing, in the finale, where you would expect the most viewership, as aside from like the first episode, the viewership for that was 0.188%. Horrifically worse than their average and not even comparable to the previous season of the Queendom series, Queendom 2. And maybe, just a thought here, if they didn't have a whole damn flashback episode for episode 8, maybe that drop in viewership wouldn't have happened. It's like watching the most middest anime in known to man, and it's not even the beach episode. Still, the lack of interest by the Korean public just on the show alone would have been a big warning sign. But management was probably like this: well, it's an Mnet group, it can't fail. Well, also, second warning sign, even though it's a smaller one, the name of the group. The name of the group, as I've already mentioned, is EL7Z, which, if you're wondering what it means, I'll give you a guess, but you probably won't be able to guess it, because when I looked at the meaning again, I completely forgot and I was like, oh yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. EL7Z, get this, hold up. EL7Z is puzzle backwards. How did I do it? Now, I understand you put this much effort into making this group, you gotta push forward with it. And so they did. Mnet announced that EL7Z would debut in September 2023. And one big question they have yet to answer was, is this group a project group or permanent group? See, groups that were formed from survival shows like those from Mnet mainly are project groups, meaning they have a certain contract, usually 2 or 3 years, and then after that, all the members go back to the original companies and their original groups and move on with their careers. But so far, Mnet has only said that EL7Z is gonna get 3 albums without any further explanation. But let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, even though there's really nothing to get ahead of because the road kind of ends there. But on September 14, 2023, EL7Z made their debut with the title track, Cheeky. Listen, Jack, Cheeky can be described
in a single word. I was going to put him
disappointing. I imagine those who followed this group from day one of their survival show just to get this most generic sounding song to ever song is disappointed. Also, trust me, it's not that much different when you listen to the rest of the album. Okay, I will say Hideaway and Cloud9 are pretty solid on second listen. And then third listen, fourth listen. It was pretty good, okay? Now with songs to perform, EL7Z promoted, guess where? Not Korea, but Japan. Is that right? Where's my notes? Taeyeon, you took my notes again? Girl. They didn't just have one concert, but 3 concerts in Japan. Now this is extremely puzzling to me. Pun intended again. I just can't stop. Throughout the show and the forming of the group and their pre-debut activity, everything, there was no indication that they were made specifically for the Japanese market. Yeah, they had one member that was Japanese, but the rest are Korean. They're formed in Korean on a Korean survival show. K-pop, the K stands for Korea. This was the next red flag, and I think a bigger one. The early Korean fans, in particular of EL7Z UP, would feel frustrated to see their group go to the next country over to promote. And that showed in the numbers. EL7Z UP debut album didn't see the top 10 in the charts, and Cheeky peaked at 48th and then quickly fell out of the charts. Surprisingly though, I do have to mention that the physical album sales for the debut album was really good. 46,000 copies sold. But yet again, the girls packed their bags and went to perform at KCON France, KCON Saudi Arabia, and were scheduled to be at KCON Japan again in May 2024, but that was canceled for no reason. And when they were supposed to be at KCON Japan, they were going to reveal their new comeback song, which was scheduled for early 2024. And you could probably already guess, that was canceled as well. Sadly, 2024 went by without anything from EL7Z UP, and well, we're here in 2025. So why do all of this if you're gonna give up so easily? Let's look at the group's management. EL7Z UP was co-managed by two labels, Apple Monster and DG Entertainment. Apple Monster, founded in 2009, mainly functioned as a music production company and has never managed an artist or a group ever. Not even once. And DG Entertainment, founded in 2022, has only managed solo artists to this point. This is almost a masterclass in mismanagement because it's been 10 whole years of survival shows and survival groups that have been promoting. So like I said, the red flags and the warning signs has been there. So let's go back and look at them one by one. First was the initial lack of interest by the Korean public for Queendom Puzzle and then for EL7Z UP as a group. Second is the odd strategy of not promoting them in Korea at first. And third is the unexperienced and unmotivated companies that were involved. And one reasonable explanation that you maybe would have is that EL7Z UP's management and the original companies where these members come from had a dispute of some sorts with promotions or contracts or their time, what have you. But again, there's been so many survival show groups that have functioned and never had this problem, and there hasn't been any indication that there was any conflict with schedules. I also can't help but think that management was kind of embarrassed with EL7Z UP's debut, but I mean, you gotta get up, tie your shoelaces, and keep running to that finish line. So the story of EL7Z UP seems to be over. I don't expect them to have a comeback anytime soon because the members are already off doing their own thing. Speaking of the members, where are they now? Well, Kay moved on to release her solo single album Winter Garden in late 2024 and appear on Korean YouTube channels here and there. Yeoreum, since Wujusangyeon has also been on hiatus, has been making TikToks, as far as I know. Yeonmi left her original management Willem Entertainment in 2024 and most recently had some fan meetings. Yeon was already promoting herself solo before EL7Z UP, so she went back to the studio to release her new song Picky, featuring BAP's Bang Young-guk. It was supposed to be the pre-release to her new mini album, but that never came out. Luckily for Yuki, she had a group to go back to and promote with Purple Kiss, but it looks like she has to do this whole survival show thing again, because it was announced that Purple Kiss will compete in a new survival show called Idol that will premiere this year, 2025. It is a show that is described as, let me quote this because this is kind of sad, a show where 6 groups participating are groups who lost their shine. And to make it even more depressing, Yuki isn't the only member from EL7Z UP to appear on this survival show. Nana and her group Wua had a few promotions here and there after EL7Z UP, but they too are also joining the show. And finally, Huiso went back to promoting with Haiki, and they were the group with the most potential out of everyone. But still, I think they need to find their sound and the next hit after Rose Blossom, which will of course obviously be very challenging. Out of everyone in EL7Z UP, I think the only member that kind of benefited from her time there was Huiso and Haiki. So that is what happened to EL7Z UP, the K-pop group that literally did nothing. If you liked the video, hit that like button down below and hit the subscribe button as well because we are on the race to 1 million subscribers. And quick question, you want to see me live? Well, follow my Twitch so you can watch me live whenever I stream there soon. Again, I'm working on a schedule. I'm working on some fun things for you guys. So follow me there to let you know when I go live. And that's it for me. I've been Naeson, and remember, don't do nothing. Do something. I don't know. So hang out with the cardboard cutout of Taeyeon. It's the only thing that keeps me sane. Like, there's nobody here.